Hey, what is that? That god-awful smell.
I don't know.
I got poopy.
Did you just say that you went poopy?
Yeah, it was good.
Get him out of here.
This is the Dave and Creech Show, the only podcast where podcaster CJ Creech and actor Dave Sheridan come together to talk all things entertainment with your favorite entertainers. Want to ask our guests a question? Tweet them to @DaveSheridan or @CJCNOV88, and they may be asked to our guests live on the show. We do have to ask you stay seated during the podcast because this ride may get a little bit hilarious. Now here's your hosts, Dave and Creech.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the second episode of the Dave and Creech Show podcast. He's Dave, and I'm Creech.
Yeah, Dave Sheridan here. Creech is here. We're in the house. We're ready to start the podcast. So how was your week?
My week, it was interesting, I guess you could say. A little busy, but nothing that I couldn't handle. How was yours?
Hell. It's slammed as hell. I'm building a house. And I'm building a house in a gated community with an HOA that thinks they're like Caddyshack. You know what I mean? And they're all over me like white on rice. And it's just, it's a real pain in the butt. I have to jump through hoops, flaming hoops, every little thing I want to do. And I'm building it myself. You know what I mean? So I've taken on a lot. I mean, I have vendors come out, you know, like drywall guys and plumbers and electricians, and I have to get quotes and, you know, did that guy, is he going to show up? Can I get a hold of that guy? Now he's here. Greg, give me a quote, you know. And I don't live where I'm building, so I have to drive over there all the time. So, and then it's been raining so much over the past couple months that my construction site is a construction site. There's mud, you know, it's dirt. And all that runs into the road, and I get complaints from them, and I have to go and clean up that, you know, there's this thing called like a silt fence you have to build, and the rain just knocks all that down, and the winds and stuff, so I'm constantly out there building fences and stuff. It's crazy.
Well, that sounds like a nightmare. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, everyone that's ever built their own homes that I've run into, they go, "Oh, I built my own home." Well, not literally built, but he had a builder. I didn't even have a builder. But everyone that's even hired a builder to build their own home, the sentence always ends with, "I'll never do it again." So it's like, yeah. And then there's just so many choices out there. Like right now we're in the sort of cabinet realm. So we're going everywhere to price out cabinets. And the only way you can price out cabinets is have them fully design all your cabinets through your whole house. And so that takes like a couple days. So all these different vendors, they all have to build, you know, we're trying to like make it all very similar. Like, okay, we're getting these shaker cabinets in the kitchen. We're going to get the shaker at this place too. Let's see what the prices are. So that way we can at least A/B them across the board. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
So we're not getting like a different type of cabinet at this one vendor and a different one here. We're trying to get the similar construction and the similar style so that there really are, we can make price comparisons to them all. So
I'm glad I don't have to deal with that, at least now. And I probably will never want to build my own house, especially now listening to these horror stories.
Yeah, we looked, believe me, I didn't want to build, but I looked and looked and looked at the inventory, and we just couldn't find exactly what we wanted. No one can find exactly what they want, but we couldn't find something that wasn't already going to take us doing a lot of work to make it sort of what we wanted. So at the end of the day, we said, well, let's just build. Because there's so many things that go into, I only want to do this one time. You know, my last house I lived in for almost 20 years, that was my first house that I owned. And, you know, I don't plan on having to do this again. You know, I want to do this one, and then next one will be like a little condo or something, the sort of like retirement thing. So, yeah, that is my life right now. And, you know, on top of that, everything else.
The actor's life, the dad life, everything.
Yep. The writer life, the producer life is trying to get a bunch of films going, and that's, you know, the way I get my films produced on an independent level is you raise the money, and the way you raise the money is you have to have actors attached, you have to have talent, you have to have the whole package. So then you have to go out to all your friends and try to get letters of intent. They'll say that they'll be in the movie, so you start to kind of package the movie going, these are the actors that I have in the movie, and that will warrant the investors to sort of like release the purse to you, you know, and put money into an escrow account where you can then start making official offers, and you start to plan out the shoot and the production schedule and stuff like that. So, but we're close. We're close on a couple films. I don't know which one's going to go first, but we're close. I probably got to keep that stuff tight to my chest. I don't want to really talk too much. But the moment we go into one for real, like, hey man, it's funded and we're growing in production, we'll definitely make that a weekly topic on where we're at with that and what's going on, you know. And we can also, once I'm in production with something, we can have some of those actors on as guests to talk about the film we're making. You know, that'll be fun.
Exactly, yeah. It would definitely give the listeners a chance to kind of almost be a part of the filmmaking process.
Exactly, and if there's something I might be shooting, there's a couple I'll be shooting here on the East Coast. One might go in the spring. Another one, it's the same producers that I'm teaming up with for that one. They already have another film going. I know nothing about, but they called me yesterday saying, hey, this one is really going right now. Would you want to play a role? And I'm like, sure, you know, tell me the role, send me the script, and what's the deal. So I'm waiting on that, but that might be something that comes up sooner than later. And the one that we shoot here that I'll produce is I have to get you in on that, you know, bring you in, I'd like to give you a role in all of them just to have you have your little cameo so that you and I have the, you know, here we are, we have this podcast, and now you're on location, you know, getting your ankles wet, so to speak.
Yeah, I would definitely be down for that.
Perfect.
Good cross promotion there, for sure.
Yeah. All right, so what do we want to talk about today?
Well, there's actually been a lot going on in pop culture this week.
I'll tell you right now, first of all, I'm the kind of guy that's not really ever into pop culture in the first place. I don't really keep up on it. I get my pop culture through my daughter. My son's a little too young to be involved in pop culture. My daughter's just old enough to get the pop culture completely wrong and just say stuff that's, you know what I mean, like Justin Bieber got arrested for stealing a turtle. I'm like, what? Really? Yeah, that's what I heard in school. You know, something like that. Who knows? You know, they'll say she'll come home and say something completely not even based in factuality, and then it's kind of hilarious to think of the sort of rumors and just this kind of National Enquirer stuff that's going on the level of a fourth grade level between them. You know, so because you know, I never knew any of this stuff. These are some of the things you discover as you have kids. You start to discover things about kids that you were a kid, first of all, and you were like, oh, was that going on? But it's a different world. One thing that's like really popular at, say, her level now, since everyone's got iPhones, everyone's, you know, getting their sort of profiles set up at a young age. You know, oh, do you have a Facebook, or do you have a Twitter or a Pinterest? Or, you know, like she has a Pinterest, she has a LinkedIn. I don't know why she has a LinkedIn, but I know that my wife was like, you know, updating her resume and discovered that my daughter, who's in fourth grade, has a LinkedIn account. You know, like, because she's like, oh, Abigail, I guess I'm linked with Abigail here on her LinkedIn account. So that's pretty funny. But, you know, there's YouTube. Yeah, everyone's familiar with YouTube, and then there's that sort of this thing that there's people that are called YouTubers, right? And those are people that are, I mean, obviously I'm speaking very rudimentary here. This is really obvious stuff to everyone listening, but those are the people that are, you know, broadcasting on YouTube quite a bit. You know, whether it's some guy reviewing Nerf guns or some girl talking about all her clothes that she got at Justice this week. You know what I'm saying? Everyone has their own little channel, you know, in their show. But in her school at fourth grade, that's kind of a popularity thing of there's a couple kids in her class that are quite popular YouTubers who have their own shows, you know, and they kind of have this sort of like I wouldn't say it's a war, but it's kind of bragging rights They all have the, yeah, oh, really? Well, I have 200,000 followers. I'm a YouTuber. I'm a very popular YouTuber. I'm kind of famous. And then everyone's like, no, you're not. And it's like, okay, go to my channel. So to think that kind of stuff is already happening at fourth grade is a little scary, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. And like you said, people reviewing products and movies, and there's actually a huge like segment of people who actually all they do is film their reactions to stuff, whether it be movie trailers, what have you, and they get thousands of views.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying about this fourth grade. The one kid that claims he's one of like the top most popular fourth grader YouTubers or whatever, and it's just really funny to think that I remember, but first of all, and not even in fourth grade, I'm talking maybe seventh or eighth grade, middle school is when I kind of felt like that peer pressure stuff of, oh, do I have a members only jacket? And I'm not cool enough for that, or whatever it is. I'm dating myself, obviously, but, when I was growing up, if you had to have Nikes or Adidas, but if you had some Keds, that wasn't cool, you know what I mean? But now it's like, you don't have a YouTube channel, you don't have at least 100,000 followers, well, you're not cool. That's a status thing now, so she's gearing up. Girls are always a little ahead of boys. So the fourth grade girls are already in middle school. You know what I mean? They're already in that mindset. And by the time they get to middle school, they're in high school. And by the time they get to high school, they're out there wanting to date college boys, So girls are always a little ahead. And then they hit that wall and realize, why did they rush so far ahead? And I'm sure boys do it too, but there's definitely I think there's a larger dominance, population of boys that are just kind of like they're holding on to their Star Wars action figures and toys a little longer than girls do,
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, with pop culture, I don't really follow it much either, and it's kind of scary just how ever-reaching Facebook is. Usually, I find out what's in the news from what's trending on Facebook.
Right. Okay. So you said a lot of stuff going on in pop culture this week. What is it?
One of them was the People's Choice Awards, which was apparently happened.
How about we do this? You're going to talk to me about pop culture, and then we're going to give me a litmus test of, am I even involved in, how far out of pop culture am I? You know what I mean? So you want to say People's Choice Awards, right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't even know what that is. So People's Choice Awards, is that like movies and TV? What are the awards? What do they give out?
With those awards, what it is it's all entertainment, music, movies, TV, and instead of it being voted on by the Academy Awards has a committee and everything. The People's Choice is by the people, supposedly. I can't verify that 100%, but at least it's supposed to be voted by the people.
So obviously you've never voted. I've never voted. Where do you go to vote for the People's Choice Awards? Is there a peopleschoiceawards.com you can log on and vote?
I believe the voting's done online. And what's weird is, like, for the show they allot certain awards, and then they have all these extra awards that they only do on the internet. And what I'm wondering on those who vote on internet, do they get an award too, since they're not at the fancy show?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you're saying, do they get a nice trophy, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe you do. Yeah, it's kind of like, because, they've got the one thing, I don't know too much. I don't know anything about the People's Choice Awards or what the categories are, but the Emmys, I know a little bit about, and you've got your daytime Emmys, and you've got your primetime Emmys, and, the daytime Emmys, maybe they do that now, but, at a certain point, way back when, they didn't have a show for the daytime Emmys, and you would just receive it. You received an Emmy, you know what I mean? And the same thing with whether it's the Academy Awards or what are some of the other ones, Golden Globes or whatever. There's lower end things of the production that you win an award on. The Academy Awards, you can win, like, for instance, visual effects for Academy Award. They really don't care too much, and maybe they do now. Maybe that is a group of guys that can get up on stage. but a lot of those things are sort of given out prior to the day of or the day before. Those are given out. You're still there in person. You receive your Oscar, but you're not a part of the actual broadcast. You know what I'm saying? And they'll just announce it going, and for this, you won this. But they'll have a dinner the night before where they're giving out some of those awards to these sort of below-the-line people that don't really warrant to be on TV because they don't want to take airtime away from Hillary Swank crying. You know what I mean? They want to milk that, So now I don't know. The thing is this about anything like the war, any of these wars going on or anything going on, if you track the money, if you kind of follow the money, who's getting money from this stuff, then you can kind of figure out, you can kind of understand the political background of who's winning some of these awards, because the reality is there's a lot of politics that go in to any one of these awards, especially when they have a show. Because when you have a show, they're sponsors. And when you have a show, you want ratings. And so and so there's a lot of things that go into it. You want to guarantee that the big stars show up because they've got to be sitting in the audience. They've got to be walking that red carpet because that's ratings. And that's going to make McDonald's and Tide and whoever's sponsoring these things and paying the money happy, because it's basically a show for ratings. That's all it is. It's not, so that, and so at the end of the day, a lot of those decisions are who's gonna gain ratings, who's gonna give them ratings, especially when you come to like the MTV Awards and they're giving out Best Kiss or Best Fight Scene or something like that. They have to make the demographic of the award, the people receiving it, they got to make that the person that's going to garner that makes sense for MTV, but also they got to make it realistic of who's going to show up to that MTV award, because certainly they could give it to Leonardo DiCaprio, but Leo he ain't showing up to the MTV Awards. You know what I'm saying? So they're not even going to bother nominating him because he won't put his ass in the seat, and that's not going to help their ratings. The Academy Awards, they don't have to worry about that. But when you start getting down to People's Choice Awards or the Nickelodeon Awards or the Dave Sheridan Awards, no one shows up to my awards. I've been broadcasting that for years. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? So obviously each one of them plays into who's going to show up. Because I could certainly nominate Leonardo DiCaprio for Best Actor or Revenant for the Dave Sheridan Awards, but he's not going to show up. So I'm nominating somebody else for another movie. I don't know what it is yet because I haven't really started my awards.
It's not the season yet, huh?
Not the season. I tend to, I don't want to compete with the award season. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I haven't started it. I'm looking for, when is that? You know what I mean? It's like, I think Arbor Day would probably be a good time to have the Dave Sheridan Awards, because nobody really does anything on Arbor Day anymore, so I can kind of combine a national holiday with my awards and sort of, probably get some sort of green manufacturing company to kind of sponsor my Arbor Day Dave Sheridan Awards. So, but the other reason is I think that's a great idea. However, I don't even know when Arbor Day is either, so I haven't been able to really start the award show yet.
I gotcha.
Only thing I know about the Emmys is that you have to pay. It's kind of like when you're in a band in L.A., they have a thing called pay to play. So to get booked in the bars, the bands have to pay, and they pay by buying tickets. So, okay, you want to play the Roxy? Great. You got to buy 300 tickets. So now the band it's almost like raffle tickets. The band is responsible for selling those tickets, and they can still sell them at the door, but they're on the hook for 300 tickets. So they can go out and hustle and, hey, you want to buy a ticket? And some of them they can give out. All right, man, to put you on the list, I'll put you on the list. But either way, you play that night, and if you sold the 300 tickets, you're making money. But if you didn't sell 300 tickets, you're paying money. It's pay to play, and you got to pay up front to get on the bill. But there's a lot of bars in L.A., and I'm sure in New York, I don't know, St. Louis if they do something like that. But the Emmys is very similar, where in order to even be considered to be nominated, there's an entry fee. And you got to fill out forms, and you got to submit your case. Now, a lot of times NBC or, say, AMC will pay exorbitant amount of fees to nominate, to get their actors and their below the lines and their shows considered, to get them considered. So the more you pay, and the more you pay to be all the different variations of nominations, then the Emmys are going to say, God dang, man, they just cost up $50,000 for their TV show. We got to nominate some people. So you look at like a show like our favorite show, The Walking Dead. Have they been nominated for stuff in the past? Are they nominated this year for anything? Is that passed and we already missed it? The Emmys, I guess, is gone. What's the deal with that?
They've done the nominations this year, but if I remember correctly, they didn't, because I know that's been a huge controversy over a lot of entertainment sites, how every year The Walking Dead keeps getting snubbed on nominations.
Going back to The Walking Dead, their AMC is responsible for paying, for submitting all the actors, for submitting, the below the line, the producers, the TV show itself, the writers, whatever. Every one of those is money. You got to submit. It's another $700, another $1,000, and it's a lot of money. And they probably figure we're the number one rated show on cable, right? We're the number one rated show on TV. Why do we need more advertisement? You know what I mean? And does it garner us more advertisement? Does it garner us that sort of anti-advertisement? Good press, all press is good press. So is the press about us being shut out completely from the Golden Globes, is that a good press? Because it's like, screw that, we know how good that show is. I can't believe they screwed them over. But it's like, well, it's up to AMC to send in the whole application that costs a lot of money, and you have to pay to be considered to be nominated. It's not something that's just random. You have to pay. AMC has to pay, and then once you're nominated, they got to pay for your consideration. All the advertisements that go on, you have to advertise in all the trade magazines. You have to advertise. You have to send out screeners. I get screeners. The amount of screeners I get that says, for your consideration, please consider these actors, please consider this thing. Well, that costs money. You got to mail out a DVD, and you're talking thousands of DVDs going out to people that are voting. So you have to consider like that. The Golden Globes, they don't pay for those screeners. The studio pays for the screeners. So at the end of the day, you look at AMC, they're probably going, we're making so much money on this TV show. The ratings are great. There's absolutely no reason for us. We've got nothing to gain monetarily by winning some awards at this point. And so you rest assured on the last season, whenever that season is, or if somebody's leaving the show, they're going to make sure that person, that male or female, is nominated and wins. And then they're going to put up extra money, whoever they need to pay. We're going to pay for some of the sponsors. We're going to pay for some branding to make sure that so-and-so wins that year,
Yeah, I got that. That is a eye-opening look at the behind the scenes of all of the awards, including the Dave Sheridan Awards.
Well, you're going to the Academy Awards. You need to wonder why the Weinsteins, whether it was before when they were Miramax or now that the Weinstein company, you have to kind of think about, when you look at the movies, how do they get so many films every year? They get one or two where they've got a lot of there's a lot of nominations. And the reason because of that is because they put the money up. They sink a lot of money into those nominations. They sink a lot of money into having parties. I've been to those parties where they'll have pre-nomination parties. First of all, they fill out the applications. They pay the money for those applications for all the actors and stuff. Then they hold these pretty extravagant parties with lots of stars coming, at some nightclub, and they've got the Academy voters are all there, and so the Academy voters get to hobnob with Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino and whoever the actors are, So Kurt Russell had been there this year at a bar hanging out, and some Academy voters hanging out with Kurt Russell. And then when it's time to nominate him, it's almost like, I'm going to nominate Kurt. Does it sway the vote? I don't know, but the Weinsteins put a lot of money into. It's almost like an election year, just like all these people running for president. They're not doing it for no money. They're spending a lot of money to get all the press, to get whatever. You got to wonder what Donald Trump is paying Fox News to be on 50% of their channel every day. That guy's he's always on that news. I thought it was whenever I turn on Fox News, I see Donald Trump talking. So I figured he must own the channel.
Yeah, he might. I don't know.
So was there anything of any interest there that won something? I mean, what was there something I should know about that somebody won?
The only thing I remember seeing that won was I know Vin Diesel won favorite actor and Fast 7 won favorite movie, and then the lead chick from 50 Shades of Grey won favorite female or something like that.
Yeah, there you go. You're calling the lead chick from 50 Shades of Grey.
The lead chick.
She's the favorite. Somehow she's America's favorite. You don't even know her name, right?
It begins with a D. That's all I know.
You know more than me because I didn't even know what letter it began with. But that just tells you that that's a good thing we didn't vote, right? Because we don't know what the hell we're talking about.
Exactly.
And then Vin Diesel won favorite actor.
Yes.
But what was he? Is it?
He won it for Furious 7.
Was he voted favorite actor from Triple X? Because that movie was pretty good, and that was a while ago. I mean, are they just? Was there a time machine or something? What the hell was he in?
He was in Furious 7, which is Triple X with fancy cars.
Oh, and they CG'd some Paul Walker stuff, right? And they had his brother play his back or something from behind.
Yeah, they CG'd his face onto his brother's body.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So that's pretty. What we call. I wouldn't say. I wouldn't call mud dwellers, but that's some low hanging fruit. If Vin Diesel is your top actor. Yeah. And what did he say? I wonder what he said winning the award.
I don't know. Probably something about Paul Walker.
This is from me and my bro. I love you, man. I love you.
Yeah, that and probably promoted the next 3 Fast and Furious that they're working on or whatever.
Yeah. I can't even, if I could count past 7, I know that they were doing on 3, so I think we're doing 10. Looking forward to it.
Thanks. What's the guy's name again? Vin Diesel?
Yeah.
Whenever I hear his name, I just think of those jeans, Diesel jeans. I'm thinking like this, is that all he wears? I would imagine, I can't picture him without Diesel jeans. He just seems like, and some heavy cologne. If I met him in person, I feel like I have never met him. And don't think I'm cutting down. I actually think I like his acting style, and I think he personally does take some very he is thoughtful about the roles he takes. You know what I mean? He didn't throw himself out there in a million things. He didn't completely just sell himself out. But at the same time, I wouldn't say that he's my favorite actor or whatever, but I like the fact that he does respectfully consider his choices and what he wants to do, Is that at all a good Vin Diesel? I don't even know what the guy's doing.
I'm actually questioning whether I'm talking to Dave Sheridan or Vin Diesel right now.
My Vin Diesel is me just swallowing my tongue in the back of my throat, So I don't know what that says about Vin. I don't know. All I know is I've never really seen him with a really hot chick around his arm on those red carpets. Have you?
It's not funny. It's Sheridan.
Not that he's ever going to hear our podcast, but it would be funny when I finally do run into him. I'm like, hey, Vin, good to meet you. Finally, I've always been a fan.
Yeah, really. I heard your podcast. You tell that guy Creech I'm after him.
All right. Didn't know you heard it. Sorry. My friend did play poker with him once, but it was that sort of, it was like that backroom poker when sort of like that sort of a backroom poker thing was all the rage in the turn of the century. When I say that doesn't sound weird saying turn of the century. It sounds like you're talking about like the when cars were just getting invented. But I'm talking about the year 2000. And so, poker was big in Hollywood. And my friend, I'm not going to give his name away, but he went to play, and he's not really a poker player. and they took it really serious, you know. And the games could maybe go like $1,000 a hand, maybe $2,000. So, you know, it was kind of like, okay, maybe it was like $20 for the ante, but then when guys started tossing stuff in and chips, it could get up there, you know. And my friend thought he was kind of being cute, and just sort of like, because he wasn't a big poker player, he wore those glasses. You know those kind of they look like sort of John Lennon glasses, but they have like hologram of skulls in them or eyeballs, or you know what I'm talking about?
John Lennon glasses.
Just any sunglasses, but it had holograms in them, so you couldn't see his eyes, and he had holograms of skulls. He had a hologram of a skull in his sunglasses, right?
It sounds familiar, yeah.
Okay, good. And then underneath that, he had he put in these Marilyn Manson eye contacts, right? So they're playing poker, and Vin didn't like the fact that he was wearing those sunglasses. You know, he thought he was cheating, right? And he was just like, what's up with the sunglasses? Got to take off the sunglasses, right? And so my friend took off the he took off the skull glasses, and he revealed he had these like Marilyn Manson like white contacts in, you know. And that just pissed off everybody. They were like, "What the fuck's that? What's up with that? Why do you have the contacts in? Are you cheating? Are you cheating? What the hell is this? Who invited this guy?" And it was another actor that invited my friend, and I can't give him away either. But they got on him. They were like, "This is your buddy, dude? Why is he here?" And so my friend had to ask him to leave. He's like, "You got to go, dude. You got to go. I don't know why you wear those contacts." So then we wanted to talk about Powerball.
Yes, and the ridiculousness, the frenzy that's going on for that.
I love it, man. I love it. I'm excited. The main reason I'm excited is because I'm going to win. That's the number one reason I'm excited. We're doing this one day after the Powerball drawing that was $900 million, which no one won. So I guess you would have realized if I didn't call in to do our podcast, then there was a really big chance that I won. But I'm here, therefore I did not have the winning ticket. But so the Powerball, it's played in 44 states. Did you know that?
I did, and it's every Wednesday and every Sunday.
Sunday? No.
Or Saturday, sorry. No, yeah. Every Wednesday and every Saturday.
Yeah. But it's late on Saturday. You're almost into Sunday if you're on the East Coast, because I think they draw at 11. They want to get, they want these people buying out there on the West Coast too. Get everyone getting their buying time. So this one particular, now they said, and I think it's going to go well over that, but they're talking like it's going to be $1.3 billion is this Powerball that's going to go off on Wednesday, which we might be talking in the past tense, because I don't know when when you think you're going to drop this one.
This will be right before. This will be on Tuesday. So if you went on Wednesday, then technically the Tuesday would be your last podcast.
It will be my last podcast, but we'll be doing some sort of other cast immediately, and probably from a space station or a hot air balloon, or at that point we got money. We're in a submarine. We're down in Sea Lab or somewhere like that. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do something real special if I win. That's for sure. I mean, maybe you and I will go by like a mattress store or something like that, and we can just lie on different beds the whole time. That's the kind of stuff you can do when you've got $1.23 billion. This is the thing, though. When the first time it kind of got, whoa, it's getting big. It was like at 400 million, right? And that kind of gets people's attention. It's like, whoa, 400 million? Yeah, I don't normally get into the lottery. All right, that's when you get the kind of people that, will play the lottery and they're not like well off, right? And you get to 900 million, and you got people that, own Jaguars and $2 million homes, and they're jumping in and getting some tickets, and they could spend a lot more. So to them to drop, $700 on a bunch of tickets is not that much, especially when considering they feel they're the way they look at it, the way is like, hey, I can win 900 million. You know what I mean? But when you get to $1.4 billion, there's no doubt that Donald Trump is playing the Powerball. Because even somebody like Donald Trump, who's already got $1 billion, so he says, and he's running for president, but I'll tell you this much, nobody, even the guys that have $1 billion, pass up on another $1 billion. Nobody passes up on the chance to get $1 billion, even if you're a billionaire. Mark Zuckerberg he certainly would like another $1 billion. You know what I mean? Those guys on Shark Tank, every one of them would love $1 billion because they're all buying, they're trying to invest in, edible panties and rollerblades that come out of earrings, you know what I mean, to try to make money on that show. So, and then when you have people with that much money getting involved, all of a sudden they could buy, 5,000, 10,000. That's nothing to them. Do you know how much it is to buy every number to guarantee a win? Do you know how much it is?
It should be, I think they said the odds are 1 in 200 and some million.
The thing is this, when you get up to $1.4 billion, there's a certain tipping point that if you had the money to buy every number, and let's just say it's 54,000, are there 24,000 combinations? I'm not a mathematician. Maybe somebody can write something on Twitter to tell us how many combinations. There's 5 numbers, and they go from 1 to what, 60?
I don't even know. I can't remember what my ticket had on it. I at least know there was a 50-something.
Oh, no, you're right. Maybe it goes to 70 or something like that. Anyway, who knows? 80, I don't know. And then there's Powerball goes to maybe 27. I don't know. I mean, but either way, there's a finite amount of numbers there, so therefore there's a finite amount of combinations, and each ticket is $2. So when you figure out, through a calculator, exactly how many random combinations there can be, and then you times that by 2, well, that number still has to be below 1.4 billion. So if you have enough money, there should be a way you could buy every number right now and guarantee yourself you're going to come out on top. Unless more than one person wins it, and then, you're splitting it, and then you did lose some money. So maybe that, that could be the thing. Although it's worth speculating that the Koch brothers, or who's some of the really rich people out there, Koch's, the Zuckerberg, who's somebody that that's rich? Personally.
Nobody I know is worth $1 billion. I know a couple in the millions.
Well, let's just say that, I think no matter what, when you get up to 1.4 billion, there are all of a sudden, that's even gotten the attention of the rich people that would never play a lottery because nobody passes up. I doubt they're picking numbers. They're probably just like you said, they're sending an assistant or somebody, go ahead, go pick up 1,000 tickets, and for all my employees too, But I get half, like I'm in the pot. A lot of times, usually those people that they win. In this particular case, it's probably going to be like some sort of like a group of employees all pulled together and got a ton of tickets. So it should be interesting. Somebody's definitely going to win. They got to win. Someone's got to win that thing on Wednesday. And I'll be happy for anyone that wins. I think that's just crazy money, and that'd be, I hope it's somebody that does something good with it. I hope they do the right thing with their money, because let's think about it. It's, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to pray to God. That I win this lottery, but I don't really think God gives a shit about money. Otherwise, he'd let you take it with you. So it's there's no U-Hauls behind the hearse here. So you got to think, if you're going to pray to somebody, it might be the other side. And then you got to pull the old 1-2 on them. Like, yeah, I prayed to Satan to give me the lottery ticket because he thought I'd spend it all the wrong way, but now I got him. I'm giving it to charity. I would say I read one thing, or my wife read something that said a lot of people opt to take the lump sum pay, which they cut in half, and then they still tax you on, right? So let's say it's $900 million. Well, the lump sum would have been $450 million-ish, and then they're going to tax you on that. So now you're only getting $200 million. And you think, oh, but I got the $200 million account. But the problem is a lot of people are not equipped to understand how to properly invest, properly deal, disperse, and all of the ramifications that come with managing money of that stature, right? And so there is a documentary out there. A lot of these big lottery winners tend to lose their money in 3 to 4, 5 years. They lose it all. They either invest in the wrong ways, people take advantage of them, lawyers and accountants, family members take it, friends and people like that. Me with a mustache claiming I'm your brother, who knows? But they say it's better, something this size is better to take the payment plan because it's still going to be more than you could possibly spend in 1 year. But that way you can, somebody that's a regular person who's not used to having hundreds of millions of dollars can acclimate on a slower level and learn how to best manage it and hire the right people around them and stuff like that, and not completely get everything taken away in 2 or 3 years. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. I was looking at the numbers on that, on the 1.3 billion, and it looks like it was for that one. It's going to be, if you take the lump sum, it's like 600 you get back, 600 million, and then obviously after taxes it would be about 400 million.
Yeah, which isn't bad. That's not bad for buying a Charleston Chew bar and a ticket, right, at the local convenience store. Okay, my next question is, what would you do? Then what would you do with the money? What would you do?
I don't know. I would buy more stuff for the podcast.
I like that. Yeah, that'd be good. It makes a lot of sense.
I would go buy a gigantic billboard ad in New York City, Times Square, and just plaster our mugs all over all of the electronic screens.
That's well deserved. Well deserved. Yeah. I think that after 2 shows at this caliber, it's, I'm surprised we don't already have those billboards. So I'm glad you're thinking it forward, man. I'm glad you're kind of thinking, that's good. All right. I would take the payments, right? And I'd give like a small amount. I got 2 kids, so I would give them some money. Do you know what I mean? I'd give them like $5 million each or something like that. And I would take $10 million for myself. That's a lot of money, $10 million. You don't need any more than that. So my wife and I, maybe $10 million. And then all the other, I have so many writing partners, so I would give them all. I'd set all of them up modestly. You know what I mean? Here's $3 million each or something like that. $3 million at our age, you would spend it by, you're just talking living a lifestyle of $70,000 a year for the rest of your life. It's very little. It's not like, wow, I get $3 million. So, people like that have supported me and worked hard, my other family members, you got to set everyone up, you know what I mean? Give it all, and then I would just give the rest away. I'd give it all away. I can't tell you what I would give it to because that's a family personal thing, but my wife, I do know what I would give it away to. It would be a charity, but I would just give it away. I don't want it. It would be too much hassle having that stuff. And can't take it with you, man. So if I do win it and I don't give it away, you guys can get at me. I'm just a big old liar, but that's not the worst thing I've ever done anyway. So, but I will. You watch. If I won. But let's be realistic here, right? It's easier to say that, too, because you're not going to win it. I would give it away. Yeah, I'd give it away. And then I do win. What the fuck? Wow, God damn it. I can't believe I said that. Why did you say that? I don't know. What he told me the odds were 1 in 290 million. So you're telling me there's a chance.
Exactly.
I love that line. That's a great line from where's that from? Dumb and Dumber?
Dumb and Dumber, yeah. Yeah, Jim Carrey.
Yeah. I love that line. And the second Dumb and Dumber, what did you think of that one? Dumb and Dumber 2?
It was kind of a letdown. I mean, I know some people who worked on it, and I went down there after they finished filming. I'd seen some of it because they filmed it in Georgia.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But I mean, it could have been worse. I mean, to have been a sequel made almost 10, 15 years after the fact. I mean, it was decent, but I mean, it definitely, obviously, like most sequels do, it wasn't able to hold a candle to the original.
That was it. You hit it on the thing. They waited way too long to make a sequel, and the tone and style of filmmaking from the first one, they didn't trust it, and they felt like they needed to go, they felt like they really needed to, push it too much. It was almost like we got to try too hard because we need to make this sort of now in 2014 or whatever it came out, when I felt like the characters themselves were probably likable enough, but they waited so far in between, and to take that, there wasn't enough leap. It's like you would have wanted to see. I thought the biggest thing was I felt that Jim Carrey's character was kind of he wasn't on point to where his original one was back in the 90s. He was a little lectrous. You know what I'm saying? Like the kind of things they were doing to get to the chick, even so because he was trying. How he was trying to sleep with whatchamacallit's daughter.
Yeah,
remember? That just felt like that was not in the character of what his character was in the first one. And we talked enough about that. That movie was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
We're not topical. That's how topical. We're on it, man. We're so on it that I threw us to a movie that's like not even on Netflix anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, what'd you think of that? Did you see that? That was like 5 years ago. Yeah. Did you catch that one yet? Yeah, that was nice. Well, that's what you get on Dave and Creech show. We're on it. We're right. It's all up to date stuff. Do you pay attention at all to the presidential elections?
Honestly, not really. I hear the same names get bandied about. I mean, obviously Donald Trump and Ben Carson and Hillary Clinton and I think Bernie Sanders. But other than names, I haven't really looked into it too much. It's far away, and I don't want to really research anybody and then them be one of the ones to not make the cut for the final ballot and then have to do all of the stuff again.
It's a clusterfuck. I got to be honest. I think that if you put them all up on a lineup, I would hope that lineup would be a shooting range because there's nobody up there that's really worth their salt to be president. I mean, there's you got someone like Rubio. He's young. I think that maybe there could be something there in the years to come with a kid like that, but he's young. Hillary Clinton, she's old. You know what I mean? Bernie Sanders, I don't even know it. I thought that guy wrote Seinfeld. You know what I mean? Donald Trump. That was you're talking about the host of The Apprentice is going to be your president. That's already eliminate that. How is that guy even in the front runner right now? You know what I mean? He's part of what they call a protest vote because he's saying such. It's like he's saying this sort of like frustrated stuff out of frustration. But he's not. He doesn't say anything that can be reasonably accomplished in the first part. Saying I'm going to build a wall or not let Muslims come into the country through immigration without more security. He's not. He's not saying they can't come in any time, but he wants to stop it until they have a. But that's basically profiling. You can't do that. It's just crazy. Ben Carson. That's a brain surgeon guy. That's too much. You don't want a guy that smart. Why would a guy that smart want to run anything in our country? You know what I'm saying? So that's suspect right there. I'm thinking that guy, I think he's been sniffing a little too much of his own knockout sauce when he's operating on brains. Hillary Clinton, it just goes to me. I mean, I know. Look, I'm not going to hold back throwing any punches here on this show. You know what I'm saying? If people go, oh, that's really what Dave's about, well, I'm not going to listen to him anymore. But here's my thing with Hillary. They try to hang the Benghazi thing on her or the emails or anything like that. I go all the way back, and I don't even know what year it is. I'm just going to say it was 1996 because I don't know. But it's the Monica Lewinsky thing. Do you know that Monica Lewinsky thing?
Oh, I remember that very well.
It was like an intern that blew Bill Clinton in the Oval Office at his desk, and he came all over her chest on the dress, right? And I don't care if he's president of the United States, but I'm not voting for a woman that didn't fucking kick that guy's ass out to the curb. That right there, you know, she lost my vote for eternity, that she didn't kick that dude's ass out to the curb for doing something like that. There's too many wrongs on that. You know, the fact that you do anything like that to an intern, you abused your power of authority over a young girl. That's pedophileness. You know what I mean? I know they sent Jared away for freaking downloading child porn. What he did was criminal activity. This is a girl that really had no choice in her mind, I'm sure, to do what she did. It's just like, it's that, you know, and a lot of people think, wow, she put herself in that position, but, you know, that's Bill Cosby territory. Yeah, he didn't knock her out with pills, but I'm sorry, he's only the president of the United States. When he whips out his penis and you're 18 years old or 19 years old, you're working for free, what do you think you're going to do? You know, it's like, that's, you know, you're the position of power. You took advantage of someone. Then you ruin a really good dress. You know, I'm sure that was an expensive dress, maybe. I don't know. It looked nice to me. And then on top of that, I feel like he kind of lied about it. You know, that doesn't bother me so much. But I think the one thing, the biggest thing, and then he cheated on his wife. But that was probably always going on, and she knew about it anyway. But the fact is that it was taking advantage of an intern, because I was an intern once. You know, and you as an intern, your mindset is you need to do what these people tell you. You know what I mean? Because you're not getting paid. You want to get paid. You're sort of a slave in a weird sense, and you know you want people to treat you. The personality of somebody that mistreats an intern is such a Napoleonic power trip. You know, interns should be treated like gold because they're working for free. But the fact that she just didn't kick that guy's ass to the curb, and that he's even still in the picture eating French fries, standing up to the side of the stage, I just think if she did divorce him back then, kicked his ass to the curb and walked off, she'd have a lot more respect, and I would definitely be considering voting for her. But
I feel like we were robbed of the opportunity to, like, during that whole fiasco, to like just have her throw like all of his shit on the lawn of the White House, and he'd be like, "Oh no, Hillary, I didn't mean it." You know, that'd just be the most hilarious thing ever.
Like out the second window, you know what I mean, of the White House, and he's fucking getting chased out onto that helicopter. You're like, you know what I mean? She's throwing shoes at him and stuff. That would have been awesome, you know. And she's tossing out like, you know, like that really famous photo, that famous picture that the half painted like George Washington. You know what I'm talking about? Like these priceless paintings and stuff that's in there. She's tossing that stuff out of a window and wrecking it all. That'd be hilarious. But yeah, and the thing is this: her actions of not doing that is disrespectful to women everywhere. That's more disrespectful to women than anything Donald Trump, any crap Donald Trump leaks out the side of his mouth about women. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I don't take that guy serious. You know, the upside to voting for Donald Trump as the upside for Donald Trump as president is his wife is still really hot. You know, I mean, I know she's had a lot of work done. She can't really move her face from all the Botox and stuff like that, but you don't need her to move her face. It's pretty. You don't really want her to talk that much. She's going to be that first lady that will never open her mouth. You're never going to see that chick talk. You know what I mean? She's hot. On a level, you know, I mean, like, you know, she definitely would be the hottest piece of vag that's ever been the first lady since Jackie O, right? And definitely, in a weird way, there's got to be like bikini pictures of her around and stuff like that. So that would be the first lady with like, you know, Maxim with a Maxim spread, you know, that you can Google. These guys aren't offering anything. The people running for president, they're all the same. First of all, they like their own power, so they're doing it out of their own self-interest. But it's almost impossible to really make substantial positive changes in America as a president because you've got Congress and the House of Representatives. They have to vote on shit. We're already broke. There's so much spinning plates out there and then you only have 4 years. Do you know what I mean? I can't even get one of my movies take longer to make than 4 years, and there's people that have been redoing their kitchens or their backsplash. There's projects we all have somewhere at our house that haven't been done in 4 years. So to think that you're going to turn around America in 4 years, so at least us as citizens of the United States, at least we deserve a really freaking hot, first lady, and that's what you'll get with Donald Trump. So maybe if anything, you'll get that, and it'll be good fodder. SNL will finally be worth watching again. Now that if Donald Trump was president, then you can just imagine the material that Saturday Night Live will have, right?
Oh yeah, and he'll probably Trump may be involved again with the Saturday Night Live stuff.
Yeah, he'll actually be on every week. He'll roll his State of the Union address. We'll always end with live from Saturday night. You know what I mean? But he's actually addressing the country as for real State of the Union stuff, but he's always opening up Saturday Night Live. What's next on the docket?
Well, we've covered, like you said, Powerball, and the last topic is actually it's in some ways it's kind of big news, I guess you could say, but the Playboy Mansion is up for sale, but not just up for sale. There's actually some interesting requirements in order to purchase it.
What are the? First of all, go ahead and tell me what the requirements are.
The requirements is they're wanting $200 million for it, and the requirements is basically you're buying into a roommate scenario because Hugh Hefner has to live with you, and you can't bother him in his room.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you remodel it though? Since it's yours, can you remodel it?
I hope so, and I hope you can give it a deep clean and wipe everything down.
I would go invest in the industrial straight grout cleaner over there in that grotto, right? You know what I'm saying? You don't know what kind of DNA and mold and mildew is in that grout in the grotto. I went to a couple parties at the Playboy Mansion. We'll go back to that one later, but it sounds to me like this is some sort of, I don't know what the heck's going on there. Why, if he's living there, then why would anybody, it just sounds to me like they're just looking for, some guy like a Vin Diesel who will just be like, okay, $200,000. Are you saying $200 million or $200,000?
$200 million.
No, $200 million, $200,000. 200. Yeah, fuck, nah, that's not worth it. Why would I buy that for $200 million and still have that old geezer with, he's got permanent Viagra. His dick is blue as a Viagra. It actually is indented with that kind of cursive Viagra in it at this point. That guy's taking it so much. You know what I mean? Is part of it though? You can't bother him in his room. He's living there. And also, and don't sleep with his wives that are 18 years old and have an IQ of 6, right? I mean, and don't microwave any, and don't eat his French bread Stouffer's pizza that he's got stocked in his. He's got a freezer of Stouffer's French bread microwavable pizza, and it's duh, man, can't touch those. Those are off limits. Off limits.
Exactly, and it's weird because I didn't know this until recently, until I was reading about that they were putting it on the market. I mean, Hugh Hefner didn't actually own it; it's actually owned by Playboy themselves, and I'm assuming. I don't know 100%. Obviously, Playboy must be hurting now that they've completely stopped doing nude magazines.
They're completely trying to change. They're getting away from all that. The nude stuff is pointless because they said there's so much porn on the internet.
Yeah.
Nobody's buying it to go look at a fold-out three-piece with a little backlight on the P-U-S-S-Y, you know what I mean? I shot a couple I shot a bunch of TV shows for the Playboy and specials and stuff, Women and Bikers, did the camera work on that and stuff like that. And we'd have a thing called BLP, that was backlit pussy, you know what I mean? So we're shooting the girl, she's on the motorcycle, but we got to, get the nice like pin light going through her crotch. So you get the wispy hairs and you get the thing written, a little backlight on it. So nice, you know what I mean? Little soft lens, they got a little pro mist, put a little pro mist on the lens and stuff like that. So, and like I said, I went up to some parties, but they're obviously going to sell this thing. They're not going to have, they might still rent out and have I wonder if you have to agree to like have parties still, because it's all very corporate parties up there. You know what I'm saying? And, but yeah, they're trying to change their image, getting rid of that stuff. They'll probably completely get rid of the name at some point and just call it PB, but that just sounds like peanut butter. So I'm sure they're going to try to rebrand somehow into a digital format that's more like, pop culture and stuff like that.
If I bought if I bought the house for $200 million, I would come in with a bunch of cameras, and first of all do like this reality show type thing with a blacklight where you're just going through every single room and just seeing how much it could glow, and then obviously the other one I would just mess with Hef the entire time.
It is like asking for a reality show, and that would garner good ratings. You know what I mean? And I think I'm going to have to backtrack on my Powerball win. You did not mention that this location where I could, basically have set up a little like satellite house for myself. I guess I'd have to move my kids and my family in there. So that would be that. I was not aware that for $200 million I could move in with Hess in the Playboy Mansion with my family and buy the house. So I'm going to backtrack and say, yeah, I'm still going to give a lot of it away and set up my friends and give some to my kids, blah blah blah. But I will also buy the Playboy Mansion for $200 million. My family will move in. We'll put a trampoline in the backyard and one of those play sets. We'll keep the grotto. I won't let my kids go in there, though, unless we get it, like, shocked with, like, a major chlorine treatment, and have, like, just bring back the stuff that kills everything, like DDP, you know what I'm saying, that, like, just kills bird eggs and causes, like, Asperger's disease and stuff. I mean, I'm spraying the thing everywhere. We're bombing it. But Hess will have to get out of the house somewhere because, we're bombing the house with, like, chemicals. So that would be funny, that he's got to be locked in his room. I'm sorry, Hef, we got to bomb it, we got to exterminate, and he's got like the Darth Vader mask air tank on, Bubble Boy style, and he's stuck in his room for a while, and then we move in, and then we do your thing. That's a spin-off show called Load Hunters, like Ghost Hunters, and we go into every room with the black light. We're just looking at every freaking load that's just like, oh, this one's on the ceiling. This is the ceiling fan one. That's a good shot. This is on the lamp. Here's one underneath the bed. Here's one on top of the bed. Here's one on the bedpost, right? And then we have to have, like, scientific guys scraping it and trying to get the DNA and then trying to match it up to stuff. And I was thinking when you first told me, okay, this thing's being sold, it's ironic that it's happening at the same time that the shoe is coming down hard on Bill Cosby, who several of the women, part of this these charges coming up is he sort of like did a little bit of this at the Playboy Mansion. You know that, right?
I didn't.
So now is there some sort of is this sort of a cover-up thing to protect Bill Cosby here in some weird way? We don't know. This is the kind of stuff that we only talk about here on the Dave and Creech show. This is not going to happen on mainstream media. These people are not going to talk about facts like I'm going to talk about facts because I don't need to talk facts. I can say whatever I want. I have 200 listeners. And no one's coming after me. But I'm pretty sure that, when we do Load Hunters in the Playboy Mansion, I'm sure that 25% of those loads are going to be Bill Cosby. And you're going to have a lot of Quaaludes also mixed into that kind of stuff, So
probably some of those rooms you'll be able to see from space once you turn on the black light just because of the glow coming out of the window.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. There'll be like a glow stick. They'll be like, "What's going on in there, man?" That's like radioactive. So, no, it's just the luminescence of literally a wall-to-wall thing of spooge. You know what I mean? It's like everyone's going to think you're entering a fun house. It's like, yeah, it was a fun house at one point. Now it's just the house of DNA. But I do like the idea that I move in with Hef. I win the lottery. I buy the thing. I move my family in, and it's just Hef, his 3 wives, my wife, my 2 kids, me, you know. And they're like getting the kids up at 6:30 in the morning, getting them on the bus, making their lunches. Hef, what do you want? It's Pancake Saturday. Hef, you want some pancakes? That's a good reality show, right?
It's like the Three's Company, but it's like Mr. Furley lives with you.
Yeah, it's like Mr. Furley, you know, is got a perma boner walking around, and I'm like, honey, have you seen my shirt? I hung it up in the laundry room, and it's hanging on his, it's on a hanger hanging off his cock. I'm like, oh, thanks, Hef. She's like, I am. Permanent press, baby. But, I was at a couple parties, and you have to definitely, you're there, you go to a party, you got to go check the grotto out, right? That's like a number one, that's like your bucket list. You don't go to Disneyland without going to Space Mountain, right? And so you go to you go to the Playboy party, you got to peek into the grotto. And so the problem is, it is kind of private. So, you'll get a drink, and you're going to kind of mosey over there because you don't know what's going to be going on in the grotto. So you don't want to, just beeline. You want to make it seem like you're kind of chatting it up with a friend, and you're kind of walking and leaning, and you're getting your way into the grotto. And but once you're in there, it's kind of like it's like opening a door, and people are having sex or whatever, and you're just like, how do you gracefully exit, right? Oh, shit, I didn't know I went this way. I got to go to the bathroom. Where, you pick up your phone. Where are you? Okay, I'll come find you. But, oh, man, let's put it this way. So people pay, when there's parties, people pay to go to they go to the Playboy Mansion. People pay $10,000, $2,000, whatever it is, right? And they're living their sort of fantasies. They're living out their kind of fantasies of, oh, I'm having sex at the Playboy Mansion, right? I'm talking husband and wives, or, guys and their significant others, or dudes cheating on their wives. I don't know. But think about this. When I'm talking about that, you wouldn't pay to go have sex in the grotto. You're not interested in that. This is, when was Playboy at its height? When you think Playboy and you think the golden days of Playboy, when was it?
I would guess 2 time frames. I would guess most recently probably would be early to mid 90s with Pamela Anderson, and then probably around the time Marilyn Monroe.
All right. Yeah. Okay. I'll give you that, but I would say it's like the 70s. You know what I mean? Like when I think Playboy, I think 70s. I just think that's Playboy was when people bought it, 70s and 80s, and I'll tell you it's because it's before the VHS porn blow up. You know what I mean? And so the way to go get your naked chicks was a magazine, because you didn't have a Super 8 film projector. There wasn't a lot of people buying Super 8 porn to project in their house. But they did. I remember as a kid going over some dude's house, and he's like, "Hey, you want to watch my dad's porn?" Sure. And they were on Super 8. You're watching Super 8 porn. You know what I mean? Or 16mm porn. And then, but really, porn, with the Tracy Lords period, that's when it blew up in that kind of VHS golden days of porn, turning into DVD, which made them, gazillions of dollars. And then it went to digital, and even they started having to give it away for free. You know what I mean? Because everyone with a cell phone camera started putting themselves having sex. So, but the Burt Reynolds period, in my mind, like James Caan, because he lived up there for years. You knew that, right? James Caan lived at the Playboy Mansion for years.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a roommate. He was a regular resident of the Playboy Mansion. That's that period where the Playboy Mansion was, I would say, in the golden days were really the all through the 70s and early 80s. But so you got to think, like, the guys living out their dreams, from the 70s to 80s, if they were 25 or 30 years old in 1978, and then I go to a party, they're like in their 60s. You know what I mean? They're like 60-year-olds or late 50-year-olds. And when I walked into the grotto, it was just like women that were like 50 years old getting banged by their, 65-year-old husbands, and they're waist deep in the water, like their butts are hanging out, and it was like, whoa, this is not, that just told, it's like, not that I had an image of the grotto, but that was never the image I would have ever painted, and now it's etched with some painful recessed memories that I have to go wash out. Immediately I got a double, and as I turn, I bump into like Ron Jeremy, you know what I mean? And so imagine guys that look like Ron Jeremy, but they're just regular dudes that work at a shipping yard or whatever and saved up some money, and they're banging their wives that also look like Ron Jeremy having sex in the grotto. That's what I stumbled into in my Playboy Mansion party to go, ooh, let me see the grotto. And that's what I saw. I was like, oh shit, no, get out, no, run. Right?
Yeah, that sounds like a letdown, kind of.
It does. So it would be weird when I move in after I buy it. I'm going to have to, that's something I'm going to have to get over. It's almost like that's the haunted part of the house now. You know what I'm saying? Well, dude, and you got some interviews, right?
Yes.
Who did you catch up with and chat with?
We've got 2 interviews this week. One with Greg Nicotero, who is the visual effects guru for pretty much everything nowadays, it seems like.
He also he's the EP of Walking Dead, and he's directed some episodes, right? I mean, he doesn't direct all the episodes, right? But
yes, he started, obviously with K&B, which is his effects company. He had been in, Academy Award-winning movies like Chronicles of Narnia and stuff like that. But he started as just a visual effects guy for The Walking Dead, and then through his work on there became the EP of it, and also has, like you said, directed many an episode now.
Got it.
And it's a really great interview, and I hope everybody enjoys it.
Hi, Greg. I'm David Davidson.
David Davidson.
I'm with Creech Creative Productions. CJ wanted to be here, but he had to run.
Oh.
Told me to ask you, what's your favorite project that you've ever worked on?
Favorite project? Wow. Aside from Walking Dead, I would say From Dusk Till Dawn, Sin City, The Green Mile. There were a lot of really great projects. I mean, I've been doing this for 30 years, so it's always hard to pinpoint. As a matter of fact, the other day I was thinking I should make like a top 10 of like my top 10 favorite projects, but it would take some effort for me to sit down and figure that out.
Just kind of whittle it down?
Yeah, because you got to put Inglourious Bastards in there, or Pulp Fiction, or, and then it's just...
Do you have a favorite prop?
I have a prop that I own that I bought from Tom Savini, and it's the crate from Creepshow that they pull out from underneath the steps, and the creature's in it. That's probably my prized possession.
Do you have a favorite moment from the last season of The Walking Dead?
From season 5?
Season 5.
I think in Terminus, getting the guys having their throats cut at the trough was probably, I think, the most shocking moment, one of my favorite moments.
Robin Lord Taylor working with them?
Yes, and it was funny, when he got cast originally, he was so excited about the show, and he was in one episode, and we're like, I think you're going to come back. And he's like, good, I love it. Then he got cast as the Joker, and then he came back for one day, and it was just to kill him off.
The Penguin.
Penguin. That's what I meant. I knew I was going to get that wrong.
Did you have fun in New York?
Sorry, Robin. Yeah, New York was awesome.
We had a blast.
It was insane. It was... the fact that I was standing on stage where John Lennon performed, where Led Zeppelin performed, to be in front of 15,000 fans, you can't explain what a rush it was.
It was a total fan moment for me because I've never been in Madison Square Garden.
I hadn't either.
I've never actually been in the presence of Robert Kirkman, so it was a pleasure to be there. But is there anything that you're looking forward to?
Everything.
Like,
I think having people enjoy the season and watch how the season unfolds.
I mean, like, are you working on anything besides The Walking Dead right now?
Yeah, I worked on The Hateful Eight, Quentin Tarantino movie that comes out. I mean, most of my world is sort of absorbed in The Walking Dead because I'm here 7 months out of the year. But, there's a lot of other cool things that my company's involved with that are great, like Hateful Eight. I did that in the hiatus last season.
All right, cool. Well, I appreciate taking your time, and I'll let you get back to your adoring fans.
To it. Thank you.
We'll see you later.
That's crazy. Well, and then who else? Who else are we chatting with?
Well, we also have got interview with David Della Rocco, who, yes, yes, the Boondocks Saints, which, surprisingly enough, I've never actually seen either one of them, but I've heard many amazing things about the films. But this interview was done by David Davidson, who has his own podcast in our little growing network.
Okay.
Yeah, and he did this interview. He's been a huge fan of it. Everybody keeps telling me that I need to see it, and I'm gonna make some time to see them because I know they're working on 3 now.
Good, that's awesome. I think 3 might be the one that really makes it a little bit more mainstream too, and takes it over the top. Especially the fact that now will Norman Reedus be in 3?
Yes, yeah, him, David Della Rocco, and Sean Patrick Flannery would all return. But yes, I mean, 2 came out right before The Walking Dead really got big, especially Norman's character. So this will be the first one since he's, exploded.
That might turn into a big thing. I would say this: the thing about the Boondocks Saints is they have a great fan base, and the people that love that movie love it. They love that movie series, and they're very supportive fans, and and that movie series is lucky to have those type of fans, because I know some of them on Twitter and stuff like that, and they're great people, and so these great people support that movie. I almost think the fans are better than the movie themselves, in my opinion. But there's no doubt that people love those movies, and they got a great fan base. And so number 3, I hope it's everything the fans want it to be, and it's going to be it will be popular, just because that his popularity is so big now that should translate into that movie finally getting more eyeballs. And once people see that 3rd one, then they'll go back and watch the 1st and 2nd one. You know what I mean? So there'll be a lot of discovery in that. So who knows what will happen with that series, in the next 5 years.
All right. Welcome back, guys. My name is David Davidson. I'm here with David Della Rocco. I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you a little bit today about most people would want to talk to you about the Boondocks Saints straight away, but I know that you did something back in 2013. I just lost train of thought.
I think it was
the Dead in 5 Heartbeats.
Dead in 5 Heartbeats. Yes, it was that one guy, Sonny Barger's book, the founder of Hell's Angels or something. Should I be looking at that camera or just looking at you?
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you? Well, what drew you to that role?
Oh, they asked me about it, and I liked it.
Okay.
It was all right. It was a month in Phoenix. Average temperature was. It didn't get under 110 during the day, and it got up to about 116. At midnight, it was 100 degrees there. Boy, it was hot.
Scorcher, heated days.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the Black Dove.
Now that just came out. We just had a premiere like last week. That was filmed in Cincinnati. It was just, I play a mafiosa guy. Black Dove is a movie with John Savage, who's the main actor in it. Does a really great job. He was in deer hunter. And it's about, he gets out of prison, he tries to get his life together, tries to get back with his daughter. It's a fun movie. It's nice.
Do you have a favorite moment of making the movie?
You know, I like them all. There's no such thing as a bad one. It's really all fun. It was fun. There was this one guy in it, Red West, and I had some scenes with him, and he was part of the Memphis Mafia with Elvis. Mm-hmm. He would hang around Elvis and all. That was a lot of fun.
Now, there's been some talk about them doing a Boondocks Saints 3. Do you know anything about that? You know,
eventually we will, one way or another. We will do a 3. When, I don't know. He's working on a TV series also. But it's when it's going to come. I think within 2 years, a lot of stuff will be happening.
Are they going to bring back Rocco the same way they did in
Gee, I don't know. I really don't know. I hope they do, but you know,
that would
dead.
Be lovely. I'd love that.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part about making the Boondocks Saints movies?
Like I say, that was just a lot of fun. It was an independent movie, and they gave us a lot of freedom. It was very relaxed. Just doing all of it. The second one, you know, I didn't have that many days' work, but I loved it because I was there the whole run. A lot of drinking. It was fun.
Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you in the future.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And you got a great thing going here. Take care.
Well, I think we wrapped it up. I think we set it off.
Yes.
We covered a lot. Can't wait to get back on next week. Maybe I'll have a little more information on how my house build is going. Maybe a little bit more information on my project. I'm going to be out in LA at the end of the week shooting something, so I can fill you in on what I'm shooting there. And then I'll we'll be going to the premiere of 50 Shades of Black, so I can review that. I'll review the film.
Exactly. Boom. We got it.
All right. I'll chat with you later, man.
All right, man.
Shut up and sit down.
Thank you for listening to The Dave and Creech Show. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of Dave and CJ. These views and opinions do not necessarily represent those of Creech Creative Productions or any of its affiliates.